Welcome to Fear with Christine Spratley, living like a head in charge, the podcast where Christine says fear, questions everything, and takes bold action. Christine Spratley is a former professional boxer, nanny, and 29-plus year corporate warrior turned founder of HBIC Advisors, where she is a public speaker and coach. She's been saying fear her whole life, many times without even realizing it. So tune in, spread the word, and get ready, because this isn't about aging with grace. It's about aging with mischief, audacity, and having a damn good story to tell.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. Welcome to Fuck Fear with Christine Spratley, living like a head bitch in charge. And today is called Tattletale Day. It's be a tattletale on yourself. So I am going to tell you today, I'm going to tattle on myself. And I'm going to tattle on myself about a event, situation, whatever you want to call it, that happened last Friday. And it's about being willing to be who you are, where you are, no matter what that looks like. And as you know, I've started this podcast. I left a business, a career. I spent about 29 and a half years or so in corporate and in businesses, 13 or so in Big Four, and same industry, land development, started as a runner, worked all my way up, did all sorts of different things, corporate negotiations for site selection and all of that type of stuff, and did all of it, and then left at 53 to start my own company. And that was last year. July 2nd was my last day in Big Four. And since then, I have also left a relationship, my marriage. And so it's been kind of a whirlwind of things. Not particularly was in my business plan, but as you know, for me, I'm pretty much of a move forward, keep going. I like that, just keep swimming. I say that a lot. Just keep swimming. And there's some things that I don't do when I just keep swimming. I don't like to acknowledge. I'll acknowledge my fear, and I take action. But I don't like to take action that is rest. I have a hard time looking at what I've accomplished, because part of it is the way I was raised. On a farm, you don't get credit. You just got work to do. Like, I remember telling my dad, we're walking beans. And if anybody hasn't walked beans, I think every kid should have to walk beans, detassel corn, bale hay, and pitch shit. I just think it should be a rule. Every kid should have to do that 2 summers in a row. And you learn to work hard, but you learn that you got to just keep doing it. You got to get it done. Just got to get figured out. Some people may call it pick yourself up by your bootstraps, quit, I'm sure there's 100 phrases out there, Joe, quit being a pussy, do it, whatever. But I tend to get into that mode because I want to get going. I want to get over. I want to get through this. I want to go through this. I want to get on the other side of that shit. And last Friday, I woke up and there's this saying, HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. I wasn't hungry, although I hadn't eaten till about 11. I had my tea. That's, enough for me in the morning sometimes. I was angry. I could feel it. I wasn't lonely in the sense of, I missed this or I missed that, or, my friends were checking in. But I just felt separate. I just felt a little not connected. And I was definitely tired. And that was because I was up earlier that week. I get to do, I don't have to, I get to do, and I'm choosing to do this I belong to National Speakers Association, and they're having a last story standing contest. And of course, it's this week. And I had not done it. I'm one of those people that has to get it, like it has to feel it in my bones for it to come out and give birth to it. And I stayed up that, couple nights up until like 3 or 4 in the morning, just working on it and things like that. So I knew I was tired. So I could have eaten, probably should have. So I was hungry. I was definitely angry, got shit going on, was not happy, lonely, wasn't feeling connected, and tired. Hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. So I knew that. And I got up and I went and did some meetings. I had breakfast, got some meetings, still was angry and still wasn't feeling very connected. Had talked to my friends, had some people checking in back and forth, sent out my mugshot cruise. It'd be interesting to look and see what mugshot I sent out that morning. I bet it was something sarcastic. But I came back and I was tired, and I had one more meeting, and it was a big meeting. And it involved money, and money's very stressful for me. And it was about committing to money and back and forth with this company that I'm trying to work with. And so there was just a lot of stuff on the outside. I'd say a lot of my buttons were on the outside.
I think a lot of people have been tired because of daylight savings time. Fall back.
Yeah. And also, I think we've been tired just because there's a lot of shit going on
emotionally
in the U.S.
A lot of stuff up in the air.
Up in the air, up something. Anyway, so I came back to my house. I got done with my meeting, had a great meeting, felt good, still just didn't feel. And I had on my calendar, I'll pull it up and I'll tell you what it's called. I think it was just called, and I'll tell you about her in a second, but it was a coaching call. It just said Christine-Grace coaching call. And it was from 1:30 to 2:30. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Grace. Grace is a badass that worked at my old firm, and she worked in a different division. And we got to know each other 2 ways, actually. One, as I was trying to find coaching, a friend who's now a friend of mine, Ellen, referred me to her and said, hey, she's doing coaching. You should connect with her. She's doing it, in Deloitte, and she can kind of, I think you'd be good connection. I call it the good fella connection. Hey, they're a good fella. You're gonna bond, and they'll help you bury the bodies. But Grace and I got connected, and then they had, it was when I was getting my hours for coaching, so I had to do reciprocal coaching to get hours to sit for my exam to get certified by the International Coaching Federation. And so we signed up together and we got paired together. And so we were just newbies kind of bumping around and trying out coaching and learning what coaching was. And Grace has this amazing ability, and great business mind. She doesn't acknowledge that she has one, but she does. And she also has this way, and I don't know if you have ever been around somebody that can just seem to pull shit out of you. And they just do. I don't know if it's the way she looks. I don't know if it's her tone of voice. I don't know what it is. So I've got this call on the schedule. Part of me wants to cancel it because I know she can pull some shit out of me, and I don't really want to let it go. And I just got off the podcast taping of, if you haven't listened to it, listen to it, about you're only as sick as your secrets, which is, for me, sometimes the secrets I keep from other people are the lies that I tell myself. And so I knew she was going to pull some of this what's going on in my head out of me. And she doesn't even have to try. That's the thing that bothers me. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but it's great, but it's also like, so there's part of me that wanted to cancel and move it. make up a good excuse. I'm busy. I didn't have anything on my schedule, by the way, after our call with her. But I didn't. I kept it. And we started and we caught up and it wasn't, we don't really do a coaching session like coaching. We do, but we don't. It's kind of like, I guess how doctors would talk when they get together. They don't really diagnose each other, but they kind of do. And they,
Because, you probably all know the same thing. I mean, it's not like you're discovering new truths with each other.
We aren't, but we also are like end up having conversations that pull things out of each other, but it's not a coaching call. So anyway, it is, but it's not. So I get on the phone and we're starting out and we catch up and I'm debating in my head. All right, how much info do I want to give her? How much do I want to address this? Because I've had the platform. This is my time, Christine. And this is where I get to make choices about how much of the good stuff I want. But I really don't want to tell her. And I really don't want to go there because I really am tired. And so we start talking. And finally, I just start crying. And she starts pulling things out of me and I start crying. And I'm telling her. And what it was I was just tired. I was just tired. Tired of swimming, tired of going. I know I've got the list to do. I know I know I can do it, but I'm just tired. And frankly, I don't want to today. I don't want to. And Grace says to me, she says, well, can you quit swimming for 5 minutes? And this is the wisdom of a coach. If Grace had started out saying, well, why don't you just quit, shut down for the day?
Yeah.
I'd been like, hell no.
What's weird. That's the most common response. Because I go through seasons where I get really busy and then I get crabby. And then somebody will say, why don't you take a day off? And you're like, well, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Make it worse. Because I'm not caught up.
Because I'm not caught up. I'm sinking here. I can't quit bailing out the water.
But ultimately, they're correct.
And, well, let me tell you how she started. She started with 5 minutes. And I was like, yeah, I can do that. And she said, will you do it? I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then we talked a little bit more. And one of the things that she did as we were talking a little bit more is she went through and she made me listen to all the things that I had been doing in this last 6 months. Because I started my company, July 2nd was my last day at Deloitte, and I started my company officially, that day. And I didn't realize all the change. I mean, I knew all the change. I mean, shit, I'm living it. I know it. But I didn't realize that it was down to, I live in a different house. I've lived in my same house, in my Sheldon chair that swivels, okay? Perfect view of the TV, perfect ottoman right in front.
I was wondering if you were talking about the Big Bang Theory. It's
all of that stuff. I mean, I don't have my knives that I used to cut stuff, and I love to cook. And so, little things that you would get comfort from. It sounds really silly, but it's little things that you just found comfort in that remind you, God, this is hard. I was tired of it being hard. And she was telling me all this stuff. But what she was telling me is, and you're doing this, and you're doing this, and you're doing this, and you're showing up here. And God, I don't even know how the hell you do this, this, and this, and this. And I didn't see it that way. And that was like the first time that I had sat down and I'd gone, wow, this load is heavy. And I will swim, but this load is fucking heavy. And I'm doing really well. And I'll continue to do really well. But I need to set this down. And so as she was doing this and as she was telling me, it was really interesting to kind of sit back, because I sat back afterwards and I was like, how'd she do this? She told me these things that I did. And it was almost like she was stacking them on. But in a positive way of saying, look at this you're carrying, and you're doing this, and you're doing this. And you're showing up over here. Like, how did you do this? Like, you said you were going to do it and you went and fucking did that. Like you put in a business plan together in January 2024 and you started a company in July. Like, wait a minute. And then you went speaking and then you had maneuvers with your company, and then you went and you separated from your husband and you went through that, and you made it through Christmas, and all of these things. And it was funny because every once in a while she would throw in, could you quit swimming for an hour? Could you quit swimming for an hour and a half? And we got to the point at the end of it of, well, what are you gonna quit? How long are you gonna quit swimming? Can you quit swimming for the rest of the day? And look at your calendar. What do you got on it? And I didn't have anything on it. And I can't. By that time you're in the truth mode, so you can't lie because you just can't. Anyway, I can't. Not when I'm in the truth mode. There's too much Catholic guilt that comes over me when I start lying when I'm in the truth mode. And so I was like, okay, I will. I can quit swimming for the rest of the day and just breathe. And now the part of the truth is I quit swimming for like 3 hours. I went and I laid down and cozied up. I didn't turn my phone off. But that's what I had told her I'd do is I'd quit swimming for the rest of the day, and I'd turn my phone off. And I quit swimming for about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. And then I got up and went about my business. But I told myself, I told somebody, hey, this is what I really want. I really want to stop. Not forever. I just want to take this fucking load off. And it wasn't because I felt defeated, and it wasn't because I felt I couldn't do it. And it wasn't because I felt I couldn't do it in the moment. It wasn't like oh my God, my leg's broke, I can't move. It wasn't that. It was almost harder because I knew I could keep going, which is really, I don't know if it's an oxymoron or what you want to call it, but it's a really weird emotion to know that you can go do something and give yourself permission. I hate saying that, but literally do it and say, even though I can do that, I'm going to rest.
Great leadership doesn't start with a title. It starts with bold action. Christine Spratley works with high-performing teams that include anything from boards, councils, and project teams to cut through the noise, craft clear strategies, and most importantly, implement them. No fluff, no endless planning cycles, just real, fearless execution. With humor, practical insights, and a fearless approach, after working with Christine, leaders will step up, take action, and make shit happen. Book her now at christinespratley.com.
I think for me, that comes back to fulfillment. Because fulfillment is about what I really need and what I really want. And why is it so hard for me to give me what I really need and what I really want? And if I don't voice that, if I don't tattle on somebody, myself, and tell somebody what I really need and what I really want, I don't usually get it or give it to myself. So I encourage you to, when you don't want to tell somebody something, to tell them. And I'm not talking about everybody and everything, but get you a tribe, get you a couple people, okay, that really listen and have your back, that are going to, walk you through, hey, this is what I'm seeing, layer after layer after layer, and they're going to build you up to show you, and it's not even building you up, they're showing you what you've built. I mean, she didn't lie about anything, but they're putting it in your face going, no, you're this good and you're tired and you deserve a break. So knock it off, like do it. And then they get you to commit to taking care of yourself. Give yourself the gift of those people and then give yourself the gift of using them, of letting them love you, of letting them guide you. I think sometimes for me, the hardest thing that I have to do is to accept the hand that's reached out to me. Because usually I'm running 1,000 miles a minute. Okay. And I'm reaching out and I'm grabbing everybody and going, come on, let's go. And sometimes the hand that reaches out to me, even if it's in front of me, is walking when I'm running, and they're slowing me down, and they're making me look, and they're making me stop and breathe and take in the day or take in whatever. So what Grace gave me was, and this is, I got in my bed, I put on my PJs because I have my great PJs. They're real soft and they breathe. And when you're in menopause, you need PJs that breathe. Okay. And I got in my bed and of course my Finn comes up and lays on me. He's my board doodle. And because he's that way. And then Abby is my Bernie doodle. And she's kind of, she's just Abby. She's just happy, kooky, crazy. She's fiddling. And so I have a blanket that goes on top over my quilt, and I pick up, or my comforter, and I pick it up, and she gets underneath it, and we both get underneath it. And so I'm there with Abby, and she's looking at me. And then I take my head out, and I just leave the blanket on top of her. And she did this. She spun in a circle, Joe, and she wrapped herself up in this little cocoon and then lay down. And then she just laid there and hung out. But she was all wrapped up. And it was the three of us, and then I got wrapped up and I thought, that's a great way. So I got all cozied in there, and we all just laid there for a couple hours. So I needed to tell on myself, and I'm telling you to let you know. I don't know what you think about who I am from these podcasts. You may not think about me at all. But typically what I do when I listen to people's podcasts or they say something that I agree with or wow, an insight, I judge my insides by their outsides. Okay? Don't do that with me. Okay? I am flawed. I am tired. Friday, I'm hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. But I am still a head bitch in charge, even when I'm those things. So I get everything just like everybody else. And that is what is so amazing about this journey, is that when I tell on myself to someone and I show someone me, I connect with them and I have the true experience of life. I have what matters. I have connected with somebody and had that moment. And that's why I tell on myself. Because otherwise, I'm just walking around with everything inside of me, and I'm not connected. So, ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, what can you tell on yourself about? Who can you tell it to? How can you let them love you through that, or support you, or kick you in the ass, or whatever? And if you don't have someone that you really know deep down you can do that with, find them. They're out there. They're out there. But we've got to go get those people and put them in our lives. And like I said in one of my earlier podcasts, we've got to plant our own garden so we can decorate our own souls. So today, tomorrow, the next day, I don't know, pick a date. Say, I'm going to tell on myself. Whatever happens that day, I'm going to tell on myself to somebody. And give yourself that gift. Thank you so much. And until next time, Tubbs.
Thanks for tuning in to Fear with Christine Spratley. Living like a head in charge. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, tell her what topics you want to hear, and share this episode with someone who could use a pantry full of boldness in their life. Remember, life isn't about aging with grace. It's about aging with mischief, audacity, and having a damn good story to tell. So show up, take action, and keep saying fear.